Ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever dreamed of cruising the Riviera in something that looks like a baguette, married a beach umbrella, and had a love child upholstered in wicker, well, hold on to your straw hat, because today's car is as sunny and strange as that sentence. It's the Renault 4CV Jolly by Ghia, a beach buggy for aristocrats, a golf cart for playboys, and possibly the only car where you could lose your sunglasses and your dignity in the same gust of wind. Before we pop open the wicker glove box, massive thanks to the channel's sponsors, our beloved YouTube members. You're the reason I can afford to digitally chase French microcars instead of delivering pizza in a Citroën Army. You keep Timmy's tools rusty, Bob's paranoia funded, and my caffeine levels legally suspect. If you've subscribed, I owe you a ride in this jolly. Just bring your own suntan lotion and existential crisis. Now about this delightful contraption. Picture France in 1942. While the world was tangled in war and the Renault factory was under German occupation, a few rebellious French engineers quietly plotted something radical, not resistant sabotage, but a tiny rear-engined car. This was the birth of the Renault 4CV, developed under Nazi noses and unveiled in 1946 like a buttery slap in the face. Its curvy body earned it the nickname La Motte de Beurre, the lump of butter, and it quickly became France's first post-war mass-market car. Over 1.1 million units rolled off the line, and not a single one had the faintest idea it would one day wear a fringe roof and carry sunburned millionaires. Flash forward to the mid-1950s. In Italy, Giovanni Gigi Segre, the boss at Carrozzeria Ghia, is holidaying on the island of Capri and watching lumbering taxis ferrying sweaty tourists. He squints at a garishly painted American barge and thinks, what if a Vespa and a gondola had a baby? Thus, the Ghia Jolly was born, an open-sided leisure cruiser built for resorts, yacht decks, and conspicuous displays of wealth. Early versions were based on Lambretta scooters, but by 1954, Segre pivoted to the Renault 4CV for more power and better proportions. Think of it as trading a paddle boat for a speedboat, but in flip-flops. Ghia's modifications were dramatic. Doors? Gone. Roof? Replaced with a striped surrey top. Seats? Out with the cloth, in with the wicker. Chains draped across the sides offered the illusion of safety, and the result looked like something a Bond villain would use to chase bikini models across a private beach. French tuning firm Autoblow even got involved, encouraging Ghia to build coupe and cabriolet variants, but the Jolly was the wild child of the family. Approximately 50 Renault 4CV Jolly were built circa 1960 to 1960 single batch on consecutively numbered 4CV chassis, with most exported to the United States. Because they were conversions, not factory builds, many were later rebodied or scrapped, leaving only a dozen or so confirmed survivors. Either way, you'll see more unicorns than 4CV Jollies on the average street. Now let's talk guts. Underneath all that seaside flair, the Jolly used the final series mechanicals of the Renault 4CV. That meant a rear-mounted 747cc inline-4 engine, yes, we're talking less than a litre here, that managed 28 horsepower and 43 pound-feet of torque. That's roughly the output of 2 hairdryers duct-taped to a shopping cart, but for something this light, it was surprisingly zippy. Renault's engineers, possibly fueled by post-liberation croissants and a need to prove something, gave it overhead valves and removable cylinder sleeves, a clever feature for easy maintenance, assuming your mechanic wasn't Timmy. The engine was paired to a 3-speed, manual with a floor-mounted shifter. Some Renault 4CVs had a Furlec semi-automatic clutch, but no Jolly has been found with one, probably for the best, as Bob still thinks any car that shifts itself is controlled by aliens. The Jolly kept the 4CV's monocoque chassis, though Ghia's design chopped away the doors and roof. Despite this, reinforced sills kept it reasonably sturdy. The suspension? Independent coils up front, and a swing-axle rear setup, which meant it handled more like a tipsy flamingo than a sports car, but it got the job done. Braking was courtesy of 4 drum brakes, adequate, unless Timmy's been behind the wheel, in which case nothing short of divine intervention helps. Steering was rack and pinion. As for dimensions, the base 4CV measured 11 feet 10 inches, 3.61 meters long, 4 feet 8 inches, 1.43 meters wide, and 4 feet 10 inches, 1.47 meters high. The wheelbase was 6 feet 11 inches, 2.1 meters, and the whole car weighed about 200 pounds, 544 kilograms. Top speed hovered around 65 miles per hour, 105 kilometers per hour, which in a roofless, doorless, wicker-seated vehicle feels like warp speed. Fuel economy was somewhere in the realm of 35 to 40 miles per gallon, 6 liters per 100 kilometers, provided you weren't towing a yacht or fleeing paparazzi. But let's not pretend the Jolly was about performance. This was a car for being seen, not for seeing the Nürburgring. Typical Jolly features were a fringed surrey top and wicker seats, with white wall tires and simple chain or rope door restraints seen on some examples. Some interiors used plastic seats early on, but the classic look was always wicker, ideal for ventilating sunburns and leaving grid patterns on unsuspecting thighs. Its colors were equally loud and proud: sun-bleached yellows, coral reds, sky blues. If your swimsuit clashed with your Jolly, you were doing it right. What's more, the design wasn't just style for style's sake. The absence of doors gave easy access from docks, hotel entrances, or, if you were Timmy, directly into a hedge. The low cowl and wraparound windshield gave it a panoramic openness, perfect for catching views or mosquitoes. And with that long wheelbase and rear-mounted engine, the Jolly maintained a surprisingly balanced stance. Now, in the market jungle of the late 1950s, the Renault 4CV Jolly didn't compete with other cars. It competed with tennis courts, champagne, and summer homes. This wasn't your practical run-to-the-boulangerie car. No, this was your run-to-the-yacht car. While Renault's base 4CV targeted post-war families and first-time buyers, the Jolly catered to hotel owners in Capri, governors in Hawaii, and playboys in Palm Springs who couldn't be bothered to walk from their villa to the pool. And now, drum roll please. What did this sun-soaked slice of French-Italian frivolity cost? Well, back in the day, a standard 4CV sedan ran you about $1,345 to $1,400. Ghia's beachy makeover reportedly doubled or even tripled that. So we're looking at $2,700 in the late 50s. That's roughly $30,000 in today's money. Expensive? Absolutely. But that's what happens when you ask Italians to turn a budget car into a Dolce Vita prop. Fast forward to recent auctions, and the numbers are more likely to make your monocle fall into your martini. At R.M. Sotheby's Peterson Museum auction in 2018, a fully restored 1960 Renault 4CV Jolly sold for $106,400. Bonhams followed that up in 2019 with a yellow 1961 example, complete with wicker seats and Hawaiian resort history that fetched $55,000. Current market values range between $55,000 and $95,000, depending on condition, originality, and whether it still smells like sea air or Timmy cologne. Now for a few fun tidbits. That red Jolly from R.M. Sotheby's, it had been on the governor's estate in Hawaii before finding fame on movie sets. Another one spent its twilight years in a California collection, sipping sea breeze and avoiding rust. The Jolly wasn't just a vehicle, it was a character. A prop in a lifestyle story that involved champagne flutes, striped umbrellas, and more sunscreen than sense. Smash that subscribe button like you're closing the trunk on a very determined seagull. And remember, if your neighbor says, "That's not a real car," hand them a straw hat and say, "You're not a real adventurer." Vive la Jolly!